You know how you start doing one project and it leads into another? Well, while I was in Poundland, I noticed they had these little bottles of scented toasted marshmallow scented oil, and these are designed to go in the sort of candle-based fragrance units where you put a few drops of the oil in the water and it gives off the aroma. And I thought, what would happen if you put that into one of these little air freshener bottles with electric heater in? And it worked very well, I have to say. The place is currently smelling like toasted marshmallow. It's got that sort of sweet, sort of fruity smell to it. But anyway, I emptied the bottle into that container, and you got two for your pound. And I was looking at the bottle and thinking, this reminds me of those little lights you get. You go into the designer lighting shops, and they've got these pendants hanging from the ceiling with the little tungsten halogen lamps in them in big clusters. And some of them have very long wires, and they sort of swing in the breeze, and it looks quite nice. And I thought, it'd be quite nice doing a scaled version of that. So I thought I'll stick a Molex connector in, which I commonly use this, a Molex connector to act as a socket for LEDs. So I tried it for size in the bottle and it didn't fit, so I thought, well, that's okay because you can actually trim these down. You can cut these lugs off and then take a sharp knife to them, pinging bits everywhere, and you can just trim that surface flat. Try not to cut your fingers in the process. And then I tried it again in the bottle, and it was, you know, close, very close, not quite there. But if you then just shave the very corners off, like this, not going too deep to the point that you actually go near the actual, the contact holder, then by the time you're done, it easily fits into the bottle. So that's what I did with this one here. And I drilled in the lid, which turned out to be a plastic insert with an aluminium cap, which is nice but made it a little bit harder for drilling. I drilled a 3mm hole, 1/8 inch would be similar, and this is my standard crimping tool for the Molex connectors, so I'm just going to pop another terminal in here. And I've already crimped one of the terminals on, so I'm just going to carefully feed this stripped wire in and crimp it. And these are a bit footery to get to grips with at first, but once you've got the hang of them, they're very good because they don't just crimp the copper of the wire, but they also crimp into the insulation with a separate section as well, so it provides strain relief. They're very good. So that's that done. So let's feed these in. Once these terminals are on, you then press them in until they click into these positions here. So I'm just going to push that one in like that, and it's clicked. And I'm going to push that one in like that, and it's clicked. And then I'm going to pull it into the lid area. And I'm going to push an LED in. So that's positive at that side, negative at that side. I might just leave it quite long. How's that going to look? Might trim it a little bit actually. I might just trim that LED down a bit so it stands up a wee bit higher. So when I trim the LED leads, I like to leave the positive one just a bit longer as they're normally supplied, just as a reminder of polarity. Although you can look through, you can see the big sort of anvil reflector thing is usually the negative. So I'm just going to push that into the socket, pop that in there, it's a nice loose fit. Screw this down, and that's it, just ready to hang. And I'm going to connect this up to a resistor and power supply. So I'm choosing a 5V power supply, and I'm going to use a 100 ohm resistor. And let's see how that looks. That looks quite nice. That's quite bright actually with the wide angle LED. Using a 100 ohm resistor on 5V with the white LEDs gives about 20 milliamps. It's showing us exactly 20 milliamps on the display of the meter. So yes, I could imagine a large cluster of these suspended and just swinging freely in the wind, either outdoors or indoors. I'm just going to turn this off and see how it looks as a... Oh, it creates quite a nice pattern, doesn't it? Oh, that's quite neat. Yeah, it actually projects quite a modest pattern onto the ground from that LED. And the light distribution pattern, mostly down the way. You could use those side-emitting LEDs that they use in Christmas lights, but yeah, I could imagine a cluster of these hang from a ceiling being quite nice. Yeah, nice little project really, I suppose.